Label Radio.
Is White Label Radio, classic hip hop from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s on 93.5 KDAY. And we have a West Coast OG in the building, original DJ from LA, representing Egyptian lovers in the building. What up, my man?
Yes, baby.
So we brought you back.
Oh yeah.
Brought you back to get busy, and let's start from the beginning. For those who don't know your story, they probably under the rock somewhere, but you're from LA originally?
Yeah.
What
Born
part?
and raised in Los Angeles, South Central.
South Central. And when did you actually start DJing?
I started DJing probably in 79, 80. I started out making mixtapes. So I started out, I got bused from Los Angeles to the Valley to go to school. They had a program where they take the inner city kids and they bring them out to the Valley.
Yes.
So I got bused out there. And
What school did you go to?
To Monroe, James Monroe High School.
Nice, okay.
And so it was a real long, boring bus ride.
Yeah.
And this guy named Snake Puppy, you know, the one from LA Dream Team, before he joined LA Dream Team, he was on the bus with me. And he had an idea, he said, let's see who can make the best tape and play the tape on the bus and come to school. So I made the best tape. I made a tape with some instrumentals on there, and I rapped on the instrumentals, and I paused the button, made the mixtapes longer. Like one of the hit songs that back in the day was "Shake Your Pants" by Cameo.
Yeah.
And I used to do a pause button mix on it, so it's like shake your pants, shake, 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 shake. And I started it over, and everybody's like, "Whoa, that's pretty hot!" Like,
Yeah.
I want that tape.
Yeah.
So I started selling that tape, and
What made you want to DJ? So let's
it was just making the best tape.
So out of nowhere, Snake Puppy said, "Yo, let's DJ." All of a sudden,
It wasn't really DJing. It was just let's make a tape.
Make a
for
tape.
the bus ride.
Oh, okay. So you wasn't actually really DJing, you just
No.
making a tape.
Just making a tape.
Okay.
But I learned how to scratch by queuing up the record on the pause button mixtape. So you tick it, boom, and, and that's how I learned how to scratch.
Okay.
But it wasn't called scratching, just queuing the record, you know.
Okay.
And then I sold many tapes at school, 17, 16, 17 years old, with a pocket full of money. And one day this guy walked up to me after school, a grown man, and he had my tape in his hand. I'm like, oh. I was rapping on it, you know, rapping dirty and all this. And I'm like, something's going on. And he said, "Did you make this tape?"
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And he said, I want you to perform at my club. I'll give you $500. I'm like, okay. So I went home. I brought my friend's turntables. I need to learn how to do these mixes on turntables like I did on these cassettes. So I started learning how to do the mixes. I did a mix called Triple Threat, where you one part of the record played, and then the other part of the record played, and you bring this one back while I was playing, and you play it again.
Okay.
So you like shake, 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 shake. So I said, good, I can do that now, live with turntables.
How long did it take you to learn that on turntables?
Like 2 minutes.
Really?
Because I knew how to cue up the record.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we made our own scratch pads by cutting out the Warner Brothers plastic inside the record.
The vinyl, yeah.
So it had like a little, and it wasn't paper, it was plastic. It was like plastic with Warner Brothers stamps all over
Yes,
it.
yes.
So we cut that in a circle, put a hole in it, so it's easier to make the record slide.
So that was your original slip mat.
Before the slip mats were invented.
Okay, so you invented slip mats. Low key.
So
okay.
I learned how to do the mixes. My brother and my friend was telling me, you know, just do this, and see if you can do it like this. And I learned how to do the mixes. So I think I practiced for that whole week to get good enough just to do this party. So I came to the party with my records and everything, and the guy said, "Oh, I don't want you to DJ. I want you to do the rap that was on the tape." And I was like, "Dang, I learned how to DJ from nothing." I had all these skills ready to show my thing, but so I got up there and I did the rap, and my uncles actually drove me up there, and they was like, "Wow, you're great." And so after I performed the next day, VIP Records Cletus and his friend Duffy brought me to their house. I said, "Yeah, man, I want you to rap on this music and put some music on." Like, my uncle told me not to do anything for free and do it for money, or you can see a contract or something before I start rapping on the mic or on your thing, because you're recording right now.
Yeah.
And they was like, "Oh, we can do that later." I'm like, "No."
So you knew the business first. You knew the business early then.
Yeah, my uncle told me business first.
Yeah.
Money talks. So I didn't do the recording, and they had Ice do it, and they had a bunch of other guys to do it, but I didn't do it. And so I decided, if I ever going to do it, I'm going to do it on my own label and do it myself.
Okay, and that's how you started your own label in
Yeah.
09. So let's fast forward a little bit because recently they had a Uncle Jamm's Army reunion.
Yeah, it was like a farewell to the
Sports arena. You was one of the heavyweights in the Uncle Jamm's Army crew, correct?
Yeah.
How did that whole clique come about, and what is the impact that it had on the city of Los Angeles?
It had a huge impact on Los Angeles. Roger Clayton, rest in peace. He created the whole Uncle Jam Army thing, and he put it together. He was the mastermind behind the promotion of it, and he was a very good promoter and also a very good programmer. So he would program what records to play, when to play them, and that's how the party went on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So when you left the party, you knew that I got to come back to this party again because they played some really good records. And so he knew how to promote it, he knew what to play, and that was this whole thing. When I came along, it was like them just getting another piece of the puzzle.
What year was this?
They started probably in 77, 78, 79.
Wow. And when did you come on?
And I joined like 82.
Where did the name Uncle Jam's Army come from?
That was from George Clinton. Uncle Jam wanted to use it.
Oh, so they took did George Clinton give you guys that name, or did you
He
guys
let us use it.
let it? Oh.
Before that, Roger's crew was called Unique Dreams. And then from Unique Dreams, we went to Uncle Jam's Army, and then we just blew up from there.
Okay. And then, so during that time, you was probably the head, the main attraction, basically.
Yeah, I became the #1 DJ for Uncle Jam.
Rumor has it you was riding around with Benzes and fur coats and whatnot.
Coats.
How old were you?
I was 18, 19.
So you were 18, 19-year-old with the Jerry curl popping,
Definitely.
dripping over everything.
Man, I had the no drip curl.
You had the no drip curl.
Yeah.
And you had, how many furs did you own?
I had 2.
You had 2?
Yeah.
And then you had a Benz?
Yeah.
At 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, 19.
Crazy. They probably thought you was selling dope, huh?
Definitely. Every cop pulled me over.
So what's let's get back to the Uncle Jam's Army legacy. What does it mean as far as Uncle Jam and their legacy in LA? Because you don't hear people talk about Uncle Jam's Army like they probably should.
Right.
Let the world know, what does it mean to West Coast hip hop, and what, like the foundation and whatnot.
Well, we had like huge parties, and everybody who was somebody knew about these parties.
So when you say huge parties, like give me a number.
10,000 people at the LA Sports Arena.
So just
nobody brought 10,000.
So just imagine you guys going to the Staples Center today.
Bigger than the Staples Center.
And people DJ a party. Most of you guys can't even sell out, the local ballroom.
Right.
So you guys are doing stadiums.
Right.
DJing.
So if the floor of the Staples Center can hold 10,000 party people, then it would be the same.
Yeah.
I don't know if the floor can hold 10,000, but the sports arena can hold 10,000 people.
On the floor.
Yeah. And it was just a big party. We had 100 Surround Vegas speakers, some in the front, some in the middle, some in the back, so everybody can hear the music. And we just had all these amps, and everything was just loud. So when you went to an Uncle Jam's Army party, you knew you're going to hear good music, loud, and everybody there doing the freak.
The freak. So were you guys the ones that created the freak?
Yeah, it was a crew out of Carson called the Carson Freaketeers, and they created the dance called the Freak, and it was just boy and girl grinding on each other all night long.
All night long.
All night long.
So during that time in the 80s was pretty intense as far as gangs and the streetwise. Did you have a lot? Did you have any issues?
You had everything going on in LA. LA is a big place, so you had gang, you had freaks, you had punk rockers, you had.
Did you have any major issues at your events?
Not major. We had one incident here, one incident there, but we had a real good security, so we were all good.
Okay, and who came out of the whole movement? I know you came out of the movement. What other known artists that we know of today that came out of the family tree of Uncle Jam's Army?
Definitely Bobcats, who went on to DJ for LL Cool J.
Yep.
We used to bring LO out, Run DMC out, Houdini, Curtis Blow, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So we brought all the groups out here to open up for us at the LA Sports Arena. And
so they will open up for you guys, and then you guys will do a DJ set.
Right.
So you guys are equivalent to what these EDM DJs are today in Vegas or worldwide, as far as just a collective of.
Well, EDM DJs were almost as big as we were. We were bigger than that.
You bigger than that?
Huge.
Bigger than that.
Bigger than that.
So why don't we know why in the history books you don't hear about Egyptian Lover or
Uncle Jamm's Army.
Uncle Jamm's Army the way that you hear about.
Because we didn't have anybody documenting it like they did in the East Coast and stuff like that. But you know, people who want to learn, they do Google it and they do their research and they find out.
And that's the reason why we're here today, because we want to make sure that we shed some light on the history, because we're on KDAY and you guys had a history in getting KDAY to where it is today as far as the #1 or the first rap station ever.
That was definitely Roger played. He knew how to pick the music.
Yeah.
When Greg Mack first went to KDAY, they never was playing the music that we were playing in Uncle Jamm's Army parties. So Greg Mack actually came down to the Uncle Jam Army party and wrote down every song we played and then started playing it on the radio.
So he literally at the party and with a notebook writing down every song we played. And then he copied
and
that.
Asking them, what song was that? What song was that? And I didn't see no harm in it. Like, everybody knows what this is. Like, that's Scorpio by Grandmaster Flash.
You didn't know that he was about to take your whole playlist.
Right.
And
so Roger was pissed. Roger was mad.
Him and Greg Mack had a little thing, huh?
Big beef.
Didn't Greg Mack have the Mac Navy or something? He called his DJs
Mac Marines.
The Mac Marines or something like that because he wanted to go against the Army.
Put Roger out, but it wasn't happening. I mean, Uncle Jam's Army was too big.
And did they ever settle their beef, or
yeah,
they did?
Yeah.
Okay, because you was on KDAY at one time.
We were DJing. We was the first DJs on KDAY.
Were you ever a Mixmaster?
We was before Mixmasters.
So before Mixmasters, you guys were doing your thing. And
right.
Why did you guys go on to do radio? Maybe that's probably why.
Radio was promotion for the parties.
Oh, because the party was so large that you didn't think you needed radio to evolve because the party was bigger than radio.
At that time, yes.
At that time.
But radio would help us. I mean, we had our party people, but you know, every year people get older and you get new people.
Yes.
So radio would help get those new people into the parties.
So in hindsight, if you had to do it over again, would you have taken advantage of radio a little bit more?
No.
No?
No.
He's like, I'll make way too much money to even think about radio.
The radio was radio. I mean,
yeah.
You can only go so far. The one good thing about radio is they had this thing called the Billboard charts.
Yes.
And Greg Mack was a Billboard reporter. Mm-hmm. And when he reported Egypt as #1 record, all the other Billboard reporters were like, well, what is this?
And they went out and bought it, or went out and played it.
And bought it and played it. And
yeah.
He said, wow. So when you got the charts, I mean, I had this whole thing on charts about radio and retail, something like that. And on the charts it said Egypt #1, and When Doves Cry, Prince #2, and I was blown away, like, whoa.
So you was above Prince, Doves Cry.
That blew me away.
Wow.
Like, more than half the stations in America had me #1, and then When Doves Cry #2.
What your parents say when you was, because I'm sure when you first started, they're like, oh, that's that music, that noise stuff or whatever, but when you started making money and started evolving your career, what did your parents say?
They couldn't believe it. They're like, wow.
They had to respect it then, huh?
Yeah.
Because they probably want you to go to school to be a doctor or
go to the
something
Army,
like that.
Something.
Yeah, do something trade-wise. Back then,
go to the Army. I went to Uncle Jam's Army.
You went to the Army?
I did.
So, what was your first hit record?
Well, Dollar Freak was on the radio a lot. And then they played Yes, 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 the B-side to Dollar Freak. And I had already made Egypt. But Roger's like, we can't put this out right now because it would kill Dollar Freak and Yes, 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 and we can't kill that record off. So I held Egypt for 6 months. And I brought it to KDAY and played it for him. And it's like, wow, we need this record. We gotta wait 6 months. So we waited 6 months. I went back in the studio and I did a mix on it, a good mix. I've been listening to it for 5 months at the time. So I went in and did a really good mix on it, breakdowns and all that. And then when I put it out, I already knew from the people that I played it for who said it was the best ever that I knew it was going to be a good record. I don't know how good, but I knew it was going to be good. So they started playing it. And then Greg Mack called me like about 2 weeks later and said, I need you to come down to the radio station. So we went down to the radio station. I need you to answer the request line. I said, you call me all the way down here and answer the request line?
Phones, yeah.
So just trust me, do it. So the first call, I got to say, we'd like to hear some Egypt. Second call, can you play MLB Goes Boom? Third call, Egypt. For, the first 9 calls was for Egyptian Lover. And then the 10th one was somebody else. And another 9 calls for me. And like, wow, I said, it's been like that for 2 weeks.
Wow.
I was like, dang.
So that's one of your biggest songs, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's still sounding today.
So let's get into it right now. We on 93.5 KDAY, so it's only right that we take it all the way back to the originator. The reason why I'm on this station is because of this man right here and his music. So let's get into it right now. This is Egyptian Lover. This is Egypt, right here on White Label Radio. Let's go. It's White Label Radio. My name is Mellow One, and this show is brought to you by Heritage Headwear Company. You can catch it all over LA. Heritage Headwear Company, you know, that's the new brand. Big Bad Los Angeles is a hats that we have right now. And we're talking about LA, and this is a legend. We throw the word legend around a lot, and we're talking about West Coast legend. You've seen movies, you've seen documentaries, but this dude and what he's done is by far legendary. Egyptian Lover in the building.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Egypt is by far one of your biggest records. What year was that when that came out?
It came out in 1984.
84. So during that time, what was the energy like? You would perform these shows. So you started DJing less and performing more, or did you did more?
I stopped DJing 100% and started performing. So I brought the keyboards and like multiple 808s and vocoder and just went on the road with some bands, some groups, just some friends really. When we went on the road and started performing these songs, and the more songs we did, the bigger the crowd, the more the money we got. So I made an album, then I made another album, and just kept on going.
So was it bigger than Uncle Jamm's Army and the parties you were doing?
Uncle Jamm's Army was a monster all by itself.
Yeah.
You couldn't compete with that. Nobody could compete with that. When you see 10,000 people come to just hear you play new music, that's you can't challenge that at all.
Yeah.
Nothing can challenge that.
Yeah.
So that's that. So what I did was my own thing. So Purple Rain came out, and the stage performance that Prince did in Purple Rain, I thought, okay, we got to do something similar to that, Prince and the time and this kind of thing. So we did our dance steps and we kept doing our thing. And that's kind of where I was going from there. So I just totally stopped DJing.
And during this time in LA, what was the hip hop scene like in LA? Because now you start to get stars out of LA, like you and Uncle Jamm's Army was known. Then you had, you know, other people that started to come up. What was the energy like as far as the hip hop?
Well, I mean, I knew Ice-T already, and
Yes.
he had raps going on. I knew a guy named Mixmaster Spade who had underground rap.
Rest in peace, yes.
And then I know Arabian Prince, and LA Dream Team. Snake Pepper, of course, went to school with me. He joined Rudy Party to make LA Dream Team. And then you had Eve at the Dark crew, which was a wrecking crew doing records at the same time.
That was Alonzo, yes.
Alonzo with Dre, Yahoo.
So was that your competition?
They couldn't compete with Uncle Jamm's Army.
But were they trying to?
They may have thought they were trying to. We were Uncle Jamm's Army. We were untouchable.
Untouchable.
And then when the music came out, and you can listen to it side by side, it still was untouchable.
Yeah.
When you put on these music today and put on any one of these records, you can hear the quality difference, and it was just different. And we paid to make it sound different. So we paid professional studios, professional engineers, professional mastering, and we did everything 100% professional to make it sound professional.
And during this time, did you realize that this is going to be your career, or was it still kind of?
No, this was a career.
It was a career.
Yeah,
at that
I
time?
wanted to make records ever since I was in high school.
Ever since you was on the bus going to
making rap tapes.
Monroe.
Yeah.
And the scene in LA, so everybody was kind of up and coming. Were you kind of the forefather of actually having a nationally charted record and actually going on the road or whatever? So you was kind of the originator, and after that, who's after you?
After me, wow.
Ice-T?
Yeah, but I don't know if it went national. I mean, it hit certain spots.
Yeah.
So I think Ice-T was getting known, and Spade wasn't that. He was known on the underground.
Yeah, Spade was more local than anything else.
Then Wrecking Crew had a song called "Turn Off the Lights," and that did
Yeah.
pretty good on the charts. And then Raven Prince. Then when they did the NWA thing, when A-Rap first played it for me, I'm like, man, y'all should have put it in the studio because it sounds like y'all made it on a 4-track cassette.
Yeah.
The quality is not there. And at that time, I was touring big time. I mean, I was just touring every other weekend. I'm going somewhere. And I did this one big festival in Louisiana. And during the break between the acts, they put on the NWA album. And people start singing the words. I'm like, oh, they know this record. So I called A-Rap. I'm like, man, they know your record here in Louisiana. He said, man, it's going crazy all over the world. It's a hit right now.
Wow.
I'm like, oh man, congratulations. This is cool.
That's cool.
And then I kind of thought like, well, they're singing, gangster and street, so maybe the quality of the record fits what they're talking about.
The griminess of the subject matter, yeah.
I said, okay, so maybe if they went to a real studio, it wouldn't sound street enough.
Too polished.
So
yeah.
I kind of like, it worked.
Yeah.
And then later on, of course, they started going to the studio and doing better things.
Why do you think that you are left out of the history of hip hop in the circle? And how do you feel about that?
Well, I really don't care. They can call it what they want to, say what they want to, but I know, and the people in LA know, and the people who was back then know.
But it doesn't, I mean, of course we all say we don't care about what other people say. We always say that. But in the back of our mind, like when you see like movies come out or documentaries and they start talking about,
they skip all the beginning of it.
They skip it. And why do you think they do that?
Because they have no documentation of what really happened.
But but they have the artist itself, Arabian Prince or the Ice-T's and they were there.
I mean, Ice-T put a record out called something rap, and he didn't even go back, to
the art of rap, the documentary,
and he didn't even come back to the beginning of his rap on the West Coast.
And in your opinion, why do you think that they don't do it? If they don't do their research, or they give? Because I know I'm not. I'm old enough to be around, but I wasn't at those parties, and I know people that was there, and they talk about how great, how magical it was. So there's a lot of people around. I want to know why that you don't hear a lot more people talking about Uncle Jam's Army.
I have no idea. I don't know if Roger burned bridges and they wasn't trying to give Uncle Jam the credit due because we was already huge. We could do our own thing, so maybe they don't want to co-sign on that. But I have no idea. And really, actually, I don't care.
Because I asked everybody sitting in that chair. I asked Alonzo the same question. I asked LA Dream Team.
So why won't Alonzo talk about it? Why won't anybody else talk about it?
I mean, they talk now that the movie came out. Now that the movie came out,
they have a movie out.
Now everybody is starting to tell their story now.
Right.
Everybody's like, I'm gonna write a book about my story now because now that Straight Outta Compton came out and it was a big hit, they missed a lot of things. So now everybody's kind of circling back and kind of telling their own story.
Like this is not the beginning. The true beginning is blah blah blah.
Exactly. Do you ever feel like you're gonna write a book or?
I've been writing the book for 10 years.
Have you finished it?
Yeah, I did like 3 already.
I mean, recent. I'm talking about a newer book to kind of like, or even documentary or a movie on your own.
It's all mixed to actually make the Egyptian Lover movie. And actually, before Roger passed away in 2010, him and I was working on the Uncle Jam Army movie. And he passed away, and it's like, dang, he was the half of the movie that we were doing. So now me and a couple other guys that were in Uncle Jam's Army are getting together working on the Uncle Jam Army movie. But I'm also working on the Egyptian Lover movie, which is Uncle Jam Army is a part of my movie, but it's not the whole movie.
When is that going to see the light of day?
We're working on it right now, so who knows?
Because I think that, like the young listeners that's listening right now need to hear those stories and hear it directly from the horse's mouth. Because
it's a shame that there hasn't been a true documentary on the true beginning of LA's rap and LA's dance music scene. I mean, Uncle Jam's Army was so big and so powerful. A lot of people came from, not just people going to the parties dancing, but they end up working at different record labels and doing different things, becoming different musicians or whatever, choreographers for dancing. I mean, everything, every element, because we were so huge that out of those 10,000 people, 5,000 of them went to the music business because it was like, I love music now because of this.
Yeah.
And then they taught people and it just spread. So it was the very beginning. And I don't know why people don't want to talk about the beginning, maybe because they weren't part of it. So maybe the people who were a part of it need to talk about it. So that's why we're getting together and we're doing it.
And why don't you think like you guys start off as DJs, a DJ collective, Uncle Jam's Army? Why don't you think that, now, present day, you don't have cats like you selling out big arenas like the EDM DJs and whatnot?
I do. I still perform and go around the world.
Yeah, you. I mean, as far as the rest of your colleagues and the rest of the core of it, because if you look at the East Coast, those guys are still kind of still DJing, still going on tour, still doing. But a lot of West Coast are yourself not included, but they're not really getting that shine.
Everybody's different, man. The East Coast is well documented. So when I go to Europe, they're always bringing East Coast groups out there.
Yes.
They're never bringing the West Coast groups out there. And maybe, I don't know because we're too far from Europe or what, but East Coast had many books written and many documentaries written and filmed back in the day.
Yeah.
They got pictures, they got film, they got all this, and we didn't never have any of that. I mean, if we had internet, then you'll see a big difference. And
of course, yeah.
Uncle Jam's Army will be a hashtag that everybody it was a household name. In LA, Jamm was a household name, but never made it around the world. And I worked hard to get my name known all around the world.
And you're still doing it to this day.
To this day.
How does it feel to still be relevant? You've been in the game, what, 35 years? Oh, 33 years? Okay, you've been relevant 33 years. How does it feel still to be get on stage and see a 20-year-old react to you the way that they did 30 years ago?
It's all about entertaining. I mean, if you're an entertainer and you know how to rock the crowd, there's no age limit. I mean, no matter how old you are, you know how to rock this crowd.
Yeah.
So I can rock any crowd.
Is it natural?
It's natural.
It's natural? So you can get up there with anybody that's on the same bill as you as far as artist, DJ, performer, and outshine anybody that's up there.
Anybody.
I agree 100%. I've seen you actually play the record backwards and the whatnot. And
yeah, not show off. I was walking with my fingers and show off. And all the DJs who are, somebody look at me like, wow,
and
how can I do that?
If you're listening right now, we're going to get into a Egyptian Lover DJ set. This is the first time he's spun on KDAY in quite some time, so we're going to get into that real soon. But before that, so the music-wise, so Egypt was your biggest record.
Yeah.
What was your next big hit?
Freakaholic.
Freakaholic.
And I made Freakaholic different than Egypt was my style. That's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, this style. Kraftwerk started it. And when I heard Kraftwerk, I'm like, I need to do music like this. Then I heard Planet Rock, I'm like, wow, they beat me to it.
Yeah.
And then I did Egypt. And I wanted to do all my songs similar to Egypt, similar to that electro
feel, yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
And to this very day, I'm still doing music like that.
Uh-huh.
But then everybody's saying, well, that's the only thing you can do. Like, well, did you hear the B-side of Egypt? I did Beat Go Boom, What Is It, Jigger Can't Scratch. I did all that. That's different. So we need to do something totally different. So I went to the studio and did Freakaholic. And, of course, it charted and it was a big hit.
And you mentioned that you still doing music to this day. Let's get into, before we get into your DJ set, into more music, let's take your present day. And you got a project, you got a couple projects. You had us a box set and you brought a bunch of things. So what you got going on right now?
Well, I got 2 albums out right now. I have an anthology with a lot of my early stuff on there, on Stone Store Records, and it's like a 4-album box set on vinyl, and you can also get them on CD. And I have a brand new album, it's called 1984 on my Egyptian Empire record label. And I call it 1984 because I went back to the studios I used in 1984 where I recorded my first album, and I recorded this album.
Yeah. So the artwork, if you guys see, artwork is amazing. It's got like a retro feel to it, and it's got your face on an Egyptian head and the
808 in my chest.
808 in your chest, and it got like the robot arms and legs doing like the tut, saying pop locking move, whatever.
And it's a double album. And if you buy the vinyl, if you look on the inside, you see all the analog equipment I'm still using, like the Jupiter 8, the Roland TR-808, the vocoder, and all the SSL mixing boards. So I went deep into the history of 1984.
So you went back and got that sound, that
exact sound that I had in 1984.
So if you're a fan of that music, this is it right here.
This is a brand new album called 1984.
And that's available everywhere.
Everywhere.
And this is on your own label?
My own label.
Is this the same label you had back in the days when you had Rodney and Joe Cooley?
Yeah.
And
so I started on Free Beat, and then I changed Free Beat to Egyptian Empire Records, and I kept that till this very day.
Okay. And you're of course touring, worldwide.
Yeah, never stopped since 1984.
So both of these projects, so the box set and the '84 album is out now,
right now.
And it came out at the same time.
No, this one came out in November of 2015, and this one came out like in April of 2016.
That's dope. So did you go to Stone Throw, or did they reach out to you to do that project?
Me and Peter Wolf talked about it for a long time, and then I was going to do it myself, but I was working on this project, and so I said, okay, let's do this project on Stone Throw to ease me up without so much going on.
Yeah.
So this came out 1983 through 1988 box set came out on Stone Throw. 1984 came out on Egyptian Empire Records, and I'm also working on 1985, and that'll be out next year.
Okay. No, you busy. You stay working, huh?
Killing it.
Killing it. So let's get into some new music right now. Let's get into a joint off of the 1984 project. I'll let you pick it. Which one you want KDAY in the world to hear right now?
Killing it.
Killing it?
Killing it.
That's the name of the song?
That's the name of the song.
Hey, it's ironic that you killing it now, and this is a song called Killing It. Let's get into that. After that, we'll come up with the Egyptian Lover DJ set.
Yes.
Right here, White Label Radio, KDAY. Let's go.